Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Tech Lunch Roundtable here on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Jaison.
Jaison. I am Mish.
And we are here again on Tech Lunch Roundtable where we talk tech around our L-shaped table.
Yeah, it's L-shaped.
Got news for you, and our subject for today is backing up. Beep, beep, beep. Backing up your data, actually. And also, Mish wanted to go over how anal is better than digital.
Yes.
I think he meant analog, better than digital.
But everybody needs anal. Good enema every day. It's good. Because talking about backup, we're going to be talking about some things and explaining the difference between analog versus digital. And sometimes one is better than the other.
Of course. Our phone number is 818-739-8894. If anybody wants to give us a holler about commenting or questioning or yelling at us, sure, yell at us. Sure, bring it on.
Comment.
Our website is tamers.biz.
It works now.
And on the site is stuff on things. Now, you got links to all our social media, such as Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and YouTube. And also, if you click on radio shows, you can click on today's show. We do have all the show notes for each of our shows where you can click on the links for the news items that we refer to or any websites that we recommend.
Mm-hmm.
You can click on that. One note on YouTube, if you click on YouTube, you can subscribe to YouTube channels, which is handy. That way you don't have to keep an eye on them. YouTube will actually email you when a video has been uploaded.
It's pretty much half my emails right there is all my YouTube things. It actually gets categorized out to the nth degree.
Right, and then it will. Then you can just listen to it or watch it at your leisure.
Leisure Shoot Larry.
Leisure Shoot Larry. So again, our topic is backing up and analog versus digital. We're going to go over a couple of news items. I usually add them to our website as we talk. A little delayed today. But for starters, Mount Gox is back, or MT Gox is back, sort of. Mount Gox is the Bitcoin exchange.
Really the biggest one.
One of the biggest ones, which was halted last month, is back online. But it's only back online to allow its customers to basically view their balance. It's not letting customers trade or make withdrawals from their accounts. But you can log on and see how much you've got.
So you can log on and see how much you're about to lose.
Right. There's no game. As it says, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to recover any of those funds during the upcoming bankruptcy proceedings. That's exactly what happened. Went to bankrupt. There's been a couple other sites. I can't remember the other one was shut down too. It wasn't shut down. It just closed.
Yes. Nobody's home.
So it just again, I've always said since it started, Bitcoin, I was always suspicious of it. I was leery of it.
Leery? Well, anything that doesn't exist, really, I'm leery of.
I don't know if it's something run by the banking cartel.
Yeah, there was a news article about the person who it came out who was the guy who behind it. He was an Asian guy, and it was like, he's behind it? Okay. He's probably going to look it up and see what it is. But the cool thing about the Bitcoin was the fact that it was decentralized, which also was a downfall of it too.
But didn't we have an article last week or something about they were able to track down?
They can actually track them. Yep.
Which went against. It's supposed to be
traceable,
anonymous, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of
numbers.
It's a giant serial number that has hashed in it and has innocence markers in it, kind of like a DNA strand. You can't really just duplicate a DNA strand, and that's the way it worked. Kind of like how there's a serial number on your dollar bill. Well, that has information in it that goes to a certain place. But the thing that made it questionable, and but is that you don't know who made it. It's not centralized, so nobody has responsibility for it. I mean, everybody hates the Fed, Federal Reserve and whatnot, and that's okay.
Non-federal Federal Reserve?
Yeah, non-federal Federal Reserve, federalized, federal firearms. Is that they're a physical thing. Yes, it's in Puerto Rico, but who cares? And they are, although they used to be backed by gold, long time ago, before the Federal Reserve, that was the U.S. dollar. Now it's not. Now they're trusting in God to cover their bets. Is that in China? And I don't know, did you put it on there? The newest, no, it's not really technology owner, the newest owner of United States Treasury notes?
Belgium.
Because
they bought more Treasury notes, or just as much Treasury notes than their whole entire
GDP, I think it is.
GDP, yeah.
Which is, of course, Belgium is where all the bankers are, because it's a centralized, it's a small little country. It's about the size of
New Jersey, I thought? No.
It's bigger than New Jersey.
Bigger than my Jersey?
It's probably closer to the size of New York City. New York State. Closer to that size. But it's between Germany, France, and then across the pond is Britain. So it was like a centralized area where you could actually, see things. Plus, they have waffles.
It's true. Speaking of waffles, Microsoft Office for the iPad is slated to be released March 27th, or tipped for March 27th event. The rumor spread late Monday after Microsoft sent invitations to a San Francisco press briefing on March 27th to be hosted by the company's new CEO, Satya Nadella. Microsoft did not give too much information. Microsoft didn't give too much away in its invitation, simply noting that it plans to announce some news related to the intersection of cloud and mobile.
That's about as ambiguous as saying, come.
Well, Reuters, citing a source familiar with the event, reported that the software giant is using the event to launch a version of its ubiquitous Office suite and its biggest moneymaker for Apple's tablet. They did release a version of Office for the iPhone last year. So this would actually be kind of neat to have Office for your iPad because, a lot of business folks do use the iPad.
But I bet it's going to be the web-based, because saying the Office 365, which is, sorry to say, bullcrap.
Right.
What if my internet sucks like it does? It means my document, it's corrupted. Bye, resume.
Right. Speaking of which, Microsoft also announced a cheaper version of Office 365 called Personal. And basically, it's for $70 a year. Can be installed on just one PC and one tablet. I guess it will be available for the tablet. Or you could do $7 a month for the service. This, of course, allows you to, again, it's cloud-based. Your information is on the cloud. Now, that compares to $100 a year.
For the full version of 365?
You can buy the full version of Office 365 Home, which allows you to install on 5 different computers or tablets. For $140, you can buy a standalone internet-free version.
So you mean they still exist?
$70, yes, you can buy the standalone, which is what I would recommend instead of, what happens when the internet goes out, when you get another superstorm Sandy?
Yeah, or when, the economic collapse occurs and you're unable to get to your documents that say that you're a citizen of Belgium.
Belgium? They still make that?
That internet thing's just a fad.
Yeah.
Just, a couple $1 trillion first invested into it. Whatever. YouTube is using 200 super flaggers to hunt down offending content.
Who defines offending?
That's that sort of thing. Well, they're saying that in most of innocuous enough, some prohibited material slips through the net, including pornography. Yes, actually, I was on somebody's channel. They had a porno. I was like, how did they get that? They missed this, but one of the people I watched, it has an Eminem song on it. Flagged. The hell? Gratuitous violence and abuse of various forms. Well, gratuitous violence is American pastime. Duh. Anyway, but it looks like the way they're doing it is that they're using the hired people, 200 individuals.
Well, actually, I don't think it's just individuals; it's organizations as well.
Yes, to flag material that deem to be contravention of video sharing sites guidelines. Wall Street Journal reported on Monday. So basically, YouTube hired 200, we'll say, companies to go around, basically watch every one of the videos and see if there's any content. So,
but the organization may have a computer algorithm that does it.
Yes. Well, they make it sound like the is more of a, because their own algorithms kind of blow, unless it's money making. You'll notice that content flagging that's money making, where they can charge you more or charge somebody or be a complete dick to somebody, YouTube's own one catches that right on. But something like a full movie, that old timey movie, like you can watch the entire 1080p, which I don't know how you can do 1080p color version of It's a Wonderful Life. Cool. How can you do 1080p for something that was made in the early 50s, late 40s?
NSA surveillance program reaches into the past to retrieve and replay phone calls from the Washington Post.
I thought they weren't recording all the
has built a surveillance system capable of recording 100% of a foreign country's telephone calls, enabling the agency to rewind and review conversations as long as a month after they take place, according to people with direct knowledge of the effort and documents supplied by former contractor Edward Snowden. Senior manager for the program compares it to a time machine, one that can replay the voices from any call without requiring that a person be identified in advance for surveillance. The voice interception program, called Mystic, began in 2009. Its RetroToll, short for retrospective retrieval, and related projects reached full capacity against the first target nation in 2011. Doesn't say what that
nation was.
I'm
going to guess us.
They're recording every single conversation nationwide, storing billions of them in a 30-day rolling buffer that clears the oldest calls as new ones arrive.
That's why I don't, use the phone for much more than just say, "Hey, how's it going? I need help." But I do. I'm thinking of putting in my emails lots of just text.
There is actually for Gmail. There is a add-on which I have on my computer
for Chrome itself. It's like it puts in all of the flagged stuff.
Yeah, it's. Let me just get the name of it here.
We did an article. There was an article about it. We talked about it.
Scare mail.
Yeah, there it is.
It makes your email look scary
to the NSA.
And the whole point is more and more people do it, more and more stuff gets intercepted, and it's like, that smelly people can't keep up.
It's kind of like if everybody called, let's say, if everybody, you're going to get busy signals, called the White House and said that we want to impeach Obama, or I want this done, or whatever. If everybody in the country did it, and I'm talking everybody, all 300 million people, there's a little more now, but all 300 million people in this country did that, they would do it. But it would bring down the system. See, most telephone, even internet, cannot handle even 1% of our population. And we don't exactly have a large population. 300 million, it's not bad. But most of Europe is one. They have 1.2 billion people now.
I have no idea.
1.2 billion. Asia has 2 or 3 billion. And then Africa had a little under 1 billion people. South America has, I think, under 1 billion. I think it was like 700 million. It wasn't a lot. And it was just showing, I was showing the population people of things. I mean, Canada is like, I think they have maybe 60 million people. I think there's that many people in New York City.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that island hasn't just sunk. Anyway, so
Apple has introduced a cheaper iPhone 5C. It's available. Basically, it's the same iPhone 5C. It's an 8 gig version, and it's for
$100.
How much?
Oh, it says the 16 gig sells for $100. The 8 gig is going to sell for. Doesn't actually say. It says less. Sells the. Oh, it's for free. With a 2-year contract, it's for free.
Yeah.
Which means that a contract or whatever. Let's see. 16 gig iPhone 5C purchased directly is $549. In England, 8 gig version of selling for $711. That seems kind of confusing. Apparently, they're more expensive over in England. Sucks to be them. Well, sucks to be all of us. Oh, here it is. $399.
Okay. Well, a hacker crashes Google Play twice. Google Play is basically the Apple App Store.
Yes. You can't say App Store. It's owned by Apple.
New Android apps and updates were blocked from appearing in Google's Play Store on Monday after a hacker attacked Google's app publishing system. Technology you may not notice until it holds up the next update to Candy Crush or Plants vs. Zombies or the Clash of the Clans. But developers are furious. The publishing system known as Google's Developer Console first crashed midday Sunday. Many app developers still found themselves blocked from uploading to Google Play Store on Monday. They noted that the issue appeared to be resolved on Monday, but another posted in the Google forum problem started again. Android users didn't have access to new apps and updates. Existing apps are still available for download. Google's Android software powers nearly 80% of the smartphone market. So just another hack we've seen.
Yes. Actually, I'll bring this up, the story about, there was, I was watching, it's a newer show, it's called Intelligence. It was talking about, this guy has a chip in his brain, he can access networks, he's all super powerful bionic man.
Superman.
The last episode was a worm, a hacker, took down the power grid. And they talked about how, it's aging and how do they get into it. It's like, well, and this goes into our subject, analog versus digital. Analog, you actually have to stand in front of it and go, shashink. Oh, it's off now. Shashink, it's on now. Digital means that it's connected to a electronic superhighway, which means somebody could go beep, 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 bloop, bleep, and there you go. This is why analog is better.
Yeah.
If the power grid was all analog, people can't have that. Have a smart grid. We would not have a issue with any kind of power outages beyond the normal tree falling on line and stupid person hit the wrong button at the power plant and creates a 3-mile island. Anyway, just for fire radio. You're good.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
But it just shows that anytime, and this is going to go into anytime you put something on the internet, it's kind of like, it's something sensitive out there. Just bend over, pull your pants down, and wait for it to hit you. It's going to hurt. Could be stretchy too. Sorry.
Wi-Fi allergic Americans flock to West Virginia town where Wi-Fi is actually banned. And this is something that we've talked about. I mean, it's
Multiple
definitely, hell, they have a disease for everything. But this is proven that Wi-Fi can be, you can have electromagnetic hypersensitivity, or EHS.
Mm-hmm.
In the town of Green Bank, West Virginia. And basically, the reason why Wi-Fi is against the law, but I guess if you're sober and you don't have to listen to that, it's a tiny town. Only like 147 people in it, but it's part of the National Radio Free Zone, which covers eastern West Virginia, western Virginia, I think parts of Maryland. Basically, it's in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. It is part of the National Radio Quiet Zone. Mobile phones, radio, and TV transmitters are forbidden. It's where the National Radio Astronomy Observatory Telescope, which is the world's largest fully steerable radio telescope, is located. And they try to remove all that interference away, so obviously the telescope has better
reception and whatnot.
Right. So I guess it also just shows you that if that interference affects the tower, the dish.
Mm-hmm. What is it going to do to your human body?
Right. So read that up on it. I mean, it's pretty cool. It doesn't cover Western Virginia. Now, I don't know how it all works because, like, for example, it's KDKA AM 1020 in Pittsburgh. It's a clear channel AM transmission, so I'm not sure how they can
I think 10,000 watts
block out that area. So, of course, people still get TV and all. So, I think it's
maybe just transmitters in the area. Well, if they want it to be, no transmitters, no radio communications, I mean, go down to South America. Not South America, Antarctica. There's absolutely nothing going on there except radio.
Radio. They have a little Linksys wireless router.
They probably do.
How
do they get warm? They just put their hands over the Linksys wire. Give me warm. Give me a month and I'll be warm.
Apple has released what's called the Health Book. Basically, it's an iOS app designed for the healthcare and fitness tracking area. And basically, it just goes into extreme detail. It's like the Passbook application, but anything health-related, heart rate, blood work, blood pressure. It's extremely detailed. They find, this. I guess they're thinking this may be their next big entry into another area.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if it can watch all your hydration, the heart rate, and all that kind of stuff, you just slap an iPhone on you, and there you go. I know what you're doing. I know your device.
Yeah. Now, this is, especially the U.S. is to relinquish remaining control over the Internet.
They have control?
Well, U.S. officials announced last Friday to relinquish federal government control over the administration of the Internet.
Oh, so this is the guy that says that it's a series of tubes.
Well, no, it's a change would end the long-running contract between the Commerce Department and the Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers, which is ICANN. It's a California-based nonprofit group. This contract is set to expire next year, and they don't want to extend it. Basically, the ICANN is what controls the naming of the Internet and stuff like that. So basically, it's going to be given over to the UN. Some folks feel that this may be an issue with the UN taking it over. I mean, one thing the United States did do is they kind of kept good track of it. That's why the U.S. had it. But with it going over to the UN, hell, anything can happen now. And it's just another thing that the U.S. is giving over control to the UN.
Great. So my butthole is not going to go through. Great.
It may not.
Stupid government.
Thought this was funny. Ha 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 ha. Mark Zuckerberg calls Obama to complain about NSA. I'll try to keep a straight face when I read this. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg called President Obama on Wednesday night to express frustration about the government spying and hacking programs. When our engineers work tirelessly to improve security, we imagine we're protecting you against criminals, not our own government.
I bet he's so delusional that he actually thought this was right. Because he works for them.
Like he actually did that.
Yeah. I called him. I said, "What up, man?
What up,
hi,
Obama? Obama, you Rama it."
Obama, your mama.
Like he did that.
Yeah.
Show me the call. Show me the
Mark
call.
freaking Zuckerberg or Efferberg. If he called the White House, I mean, he's one of the richest people around. I think they would take his call and do whatever he wants, and he wouldn't call anybody personally. He probably doesn't know how to work his phone. I doubt he uses their Facebook app because that sucks ass on all platforms.
That's true. Now here's something that you initially think is a good idea, but we just talked about how Wi-Fi, cell phone technology affects you. It's not necessarily a good thing. There is a company called P-Cell.
Sorry.
That has designed to improve your phone's internet 1,000 times faster than 4G. Actually, the company's called Artemis. It's a startup working on P-Cell, a new wireless standard that it thinks could leapfrog 4G together. And what's different is cell towers, of course, we know they're big, they're ugly, umbrella tops. You deploy them, they broadcast out in a bubble. The further are you away from them, the weaker the signal. Artemis's technology takes a different direction. Rather than carefully spacing out a relatively small number of towers, Artemis wants to deploy a massive number of boxes the size of routers called P-Waves. Rather than working against interference, which is what, of course, cell towers work against, because that's why you don't always see the cell tower at the highest location, because it butts up against another cell tower, and they don't want that. P-cells embrace the collision of radio waves. By combining the incoming signals from several of the P-wave base stations, each P-cell user is given the equivalent of their own personal cell, hence the name, which basically means getting full bars of LTE at all times, because the new standard, while good, signal strength means getting a signal that's as much 1,000 times faster than what we're all used to. Now, the other thing it does, it uses a lot less power. P-wave radios use 1 milliwatt transmitter to deliver data compared to the 250 milliwatts used by Wi-Fi radios, and of course the larger amounts used by cell towers.
And going from a health thing, 1 milliwatt, although it does affect your body, but 1 milliwatt compared to, what was 200?
250, but you got more of them around.
Yeah.
So that may be an issue. The phones, of course, are not going to use much less power, too.
Which
they say a native P-cell device could use even less power than the Wi-Fi chips built into, like, the iPod today.
Which is
they are making it adaptable to cell phone technology, so if you've got a phone that can use P-cell technology, if you're on a P-cell and you go in an area that's
just cell
phone, it will transition over, but a P-cell native device will use less power. So there is an article up on our website, of course, which you can review and look at it. Not saying it's necessarily a good thing, and maybe health-wise it may be a bad idea.
Well, wireless in general can be a bad idea, depending on how you use it. So, that's pretty much it for news. Let's get into our subject, which is backing up. Beep, 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 beep. Good. Beep. Open up the back.
So, do you want to see a grown man cry? We have.
I have seen many grown men cry. Women, too. And it's not as funny with a woman. It's more funny with a guy in a, like an Armani suit, drives up in a Escalade, and then all my stuff is gone. It's gone. Yep, gone. We could send it out for data recovery, but it's going to cost upwards of $10,000. $10,000.
Thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands.
Depending on how bad it is, because
right.
this is some serious forensic stuff. Yeah, you see the hipster go, freak out pretty much.
So the first, of course, the question we get asked is, and you're about to call right now asking, should I back up?
Yes.
My answer is it depends how important your data is to you.
I just have a document that has, hi, how you doing, Aunt Martha. That is important to back up.
If nothing is important for you to back up,
don't back up.
Don't back up. However, you should back up because documents, your financial information, pictures, of course,
videos, your movies. Hey, I firmly approve. I know the FCC will say no, but the FCC's not me. I can say anything the heck I want. Freedom of speech until they stop that, which is probably soon. If you rip in your DVD and Blu-ray too movies into your computer, back it up into a storage location. Because if you have kids, and anybody out there that has kids will be like, they get scratched up. And do you really want to go out and purchase 5 different copies for a certain amount of time of Cinderella Blu-ray? No. For $60 a pop sometimes. Or the new remastered 4K, 5K, whatever the new one is, which actually doesn't. Is it 4K or 5K? 4K, which doesn't actually look any different than the freaking Blu-ray, which is 1080p. So figure that one out. Anyway, going for the why back up? Back it up. I mean, it gives you a little peace of mind. I mean, that hard drive in your computer, tablet, iPhone, whatever, is going to fail. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. Now, we have talked about like online backup, which is good. Online backup has its merit, especially for business-related stuff and whatnot. But personal stuff, you may want. But this is where I want to go into the analog versus digital. You always want a physical copy, if not a printed out physical copy, or a burned or some sort of physical copy that the only way to destroy it would literally be, throw it in a fire, there you go, or snap it in two, there you go. It's like a DVD or a Blu-ray backup. And Blu-rays, I believe, hold 40 gig worth of data, and Blu-ray writers have come down significantly in price. You can get a Blu-ray writer for like $200, which isn't bad for that. So you can write your own Blu-rays. But other things that, you have your documents, of course, your pictures, like we said, and then your movies. But if you're moving around or something like that, your computer's, what if it's stolen or something like that? Backing up is an important step in it. Now, there's different programs out there that will do a lot of this for you. One good one is
breaking news.
Good.
I hear Flappy Bird is returning to the App Store.
Flappy Bird is coming back. I don't care for it.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody you heard it here first. Flappy Bird is coming back.
But why? The guy wants to make more money. He wants to buy a new Maserati.
I read the article, but you know what to say. Well, there's a thing we say in the backup business: 3, 2, 1. 3. Let me see if I remember. 3 methods of backup.
3 backups.
3 backups. 2 different media. 1 off-site.
And your original copy, what's on your computer, is considered a backup. So that's one. Then you have a backup, maybe a thumb drive. You take that home every day. That takes care of your offsite too. Now you need another version. So maybe every month you do a full backup on Blu-ray disc. There you go. You got 3 different backups. You have 2 that are separate locations because, heck, meteor or fireball or Obama might come hit you. And then, oh crap! Like there was a gun store that was making if you heard about it in California. They made the lower parts of AR-15s, and they did not finish the AR-15. So certain parts, like the trigger assembly area, if that's not been milled out, basically cut out, it's not a gun. So the person at home, they give you the information, the milling instructions, you mill it out yourself, you now have an AR-15 that does not need registered, serialized, or anything like that, and it's yours. They made a plastic version, so the ATF came in and busted them in. They made a plastic version to show people this is how you do it. It's bullcrap, but all their data was on their site, on site. Now, if they also had it off-site, but they didn't want to give out all their data to the ATF. It was customers and people that who bought. What if I might have just deleted everything and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, not here. Sucks to be you people." But I guess they were playing it cool. But that kind of information needs to be off-site, but also for your backups, especially like that kind of client information, say that you operate a bordello. You probably don't want people to know who's coming to your place. Of course, I don't think anybody... By the way, bordello is a house of ill repute. What's the modern word for a whorehouse? There you go. I'll use the colloquial term. If you run one of those, you would a lot of John Smiths.
Right.
But if you actually had people's names, real names, and pictures, and all that kind of stuff, you would want to encrypt it. And this is the second point of your backups. You probably want to encrypt your backup because, say, somebody steals that thumb drive or that Blu-ray disc. They have all your data. They have everything unencrypted. It's like, use my stuff, have fun, Oh, by the way, page 58 has all the security questions for my online accounts. Thanks. Encrypting your data on your backup is an important thing. It should be encrypted on your computer too. And by encrypting it means that without putting in a certain password in, good luck getting your data because this is also important because you need to remember your passwords or make a note of it somehow. I mean, I wouldn't actually write down, it's K48012 exclamation point capital D. Yeah, somebody's going to find that and put it in. But if you say, make it a question for yourself or something that you're going to know, like a puzzle. Like, what is the 54th word of your resume? So what you do is your code is 54R. Okay, that's the first part. It's called a key index. So you have 54R. Okay, that's Worthington. Okay, Worthington. And then maybe the thing that you put after your favorite part of a comic book, exclamation point, or ellipses, stuff like that. You put information down, but somebody actually has to use their brain, or is you, to figure out this stuff out. Like we used to talk about a password. you made your security question. If you say what is your favorite number, and your answer is brown, those aren't the same thing. It makes people think. So if you need to put some brain behind it, because like this company out in California, ATF, whoever, they can come in and say whatever the hell they want. They're the government. They don't need rules. They can. I mean, they what is it? Raw milk. It's illegal. They just dump that in the. Except, before, let's see, I would say raw milk has been illegal for 10 years.
I have no idea.
It hasn't been that long. Human existence has been around, we'll go with the evolutionary, about 10,000 years. We've been dealing with raw milk for 10,000 years. It's worked then. Why isn't it should be fine now? Has something changed in this world? Except for the poison that they put into our food. So, yeah. It's stupidity on stupidity. If everybody, I've made this comment before, if at one point, right now, while you're sitting, listening to this, or doing something, or you're listening to walking on the road or whatever, you are breaking at least one law in this country. Possibly more than one, because there are over 16 million laws in this country. Those are regulations and whatnot, and you violate it. But, of course, nobody stops you because, little things like the infraction, your expired food is against the law. So if, say, and this is another thing that I always find stupid, how can you have expired water? Actually, there's some bottles. Grab one of those bottles of water. I think you can get it. There's a bottle of water here. I will bet you $100 there's an expiration date on it. Yep. Expires. July 2nd, 2016. It's water. This has been around for, we'll go with the evolution, millions of years. I think it's safe. Run it through a strainer, there you go, you got all the crap out of it.
Right.
Probably because actually maybe the fluoride in it breaks down and doesn't kill you anymore. There is a law, a regulation. If you drink expired foodstuffs, it's a violation of the FDA regulations, which is a violation. I think it's not a misdemeanor or anything like that, but it's like a Class A felony or something like that. Basically, you pay money. It's just you need to be aware of this with your backups too, because something in your backup or something later on that your company does, say you do crocheting. Crochet needles are now illegal because somebody killed somebody with a crochet needle. Or knitting needle, I'm sorry. I don't think, they use needles in the crocheting. And now that's illegal, it's been banned, so they raid it. And they must have your data. You need it encrypted. That was a long series of talking. They're basically saying encrypt your data.
When you just remember that encryption unlock key.
Yes, that's what I was saying about the remember.
One of the companies we deal with, it is on our, actually I think there's a link to it on our show notes page for the radio show. It's Remote Data Backup.
Yeah.
Been using them for actually years and years.
Over 10 years, I think.
Yeah. They do encrypt the data. You have a free trial up to a month. They don't even ask for a credit card after that. Of course, if you don't sign up after the month, your data's gone.
Bye-bye.
But they are a few dollars more than maybe
Carbonite
and all those.
But these are professional people. These aren't
I find you can deal with the owner actually quite often. They're very easy to deal with. Pulling data down is extremely easy to do. I've used them multiple times when servers have crashed, or if a customer deletes a document. And newer service keeps like 7 backups of the same file, but with an off-site through the internet, you do need a high-speed internet connection.
Yeah.
You do the first up backup will take days because it's backing up all your data, but after that, it only backs up the files that changed.
Yes.
But I find that what was I saying?
You were talking about remote data backups? And
yeah.
The nice thing is the 7 instances of backup but also their security is very high. Other than encryption, they actually
encrypt the data before it gets up there.
Correct.
With the code that you supply.
Yeah. And it's your code, which means that even say you forgot your code, they can't get it for you. So your data, even on their server, is encrypted. Which, if the person forgets their code, kind of sucky. But that's the way life goes with encryption.
Right. But even if what I was going to say was, nice thing about off-site is once it's installed, you don't have to do anything with it. It's actually real time. It backs up the file as soon as it's saved. So it's just not set at like 11 o'clock at night. No, it's all day, all night as the file changes.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to do anything with it. You install it, choose what you want to back up, and then that's it. There's nothing else you need to do. You can get emailed when the backup doesn't happen, or actually that's not the case. Backup always happens. It'll email you when it can't access your computer.
Mm-hmm.
It'll email you when you're hitting your limit. So it's really handy. So you can certainly check it out. Click on the link on our website. It's in the show notes, but also on the top where it says remote data backups. Certainly give it a shot. Try it out. Again, your data is, of course, super important, and companies will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to recover it if it fails.
Yeah, and of course, unless they talk to us and they're like, "How important is this? Can you rebuild everything? Give me a week or 2." Yeah,
but it definitely have more than one backup. Don't just trust these guys. Back it up to an external hard drive and take that elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, you should still have RAID on your servers and hold on there. There is no replacement for having a good plan. And this even goes back. We've talked about when the heck those called disaster recovery plans.
Which actually that could be next week's topic about how to create a disaster recovery plan.
Yep. But
did we cover analog versus digital?
I talked about it a little bit. Analog is better than digital because it's real. So, and it's physical. That's why I said having printed out versions. Even though we're going to paperless world, a CD is more considered analog than it is digital. Even though it is a digital thing, but it's physical. I mean, you pop it in a CD, the stuff is there. Whereas a chip like a thumb drive, that's digital. I mean, you put a small power surge through there or a magnet nearby, if that data is either wiped or has any issues. So analog is probably the best. Even in sound quality, people they look for vacuum tubes to make their stereos, and people that actually know. Digital sound is great and all, but when you hook up a vacuum tube and all that to your stereo, and once it warms up, it sounds throaty. It sounds so much better. It's because it's real. It's not as digital. Yes, it's electrical, but it's actually going through a real process. It's kind of like talking to a person. I record in something hi-fi and all that kind of stuff, then I play it in front of Jason. It's like, it's okay. But if I put in analog, that sounds like real. So analog is always the best way to go. And also, analog is also long-lasting. Digital, think of a VHS cassette. That would be digital. It's not analog because the specs are in ones and zeros, or basically in how it's encoded. Whereas an old LP, and anybody who doesn't know what an LP is, otherwise, they are old phonograph records. The circle thing that spins, that is analog. other than breaking it, snapping it in two, every time you play it, it does wear out, but it's there. There's people that still listen to old LPs from 1944. Our mother has a large collection. I don't know if we got rid of that or not when we moved, but analog is the best. It's kind of like the difference between a switch versus analog, like a throw switch versus a button. Buttons wear out. Analog throw switches never go out. That's the reason why even on a building's power, because we're firefighters, when we roll up to a fire and the building's on fire, the cutoff switch for the power for most buildings is this big red thing. You shink. It's off now. It's very satisfying. Yep, there is nothing happening. Whereas a button is like, and kept off. So, and digital can also be overridden, like we were talking about. Anything digital can be hacked or overwritten somehow. So, those are the things to think about. Anal versus digital, because you always got to love your anal. And the backing up. You need to back up. If you do need to back up, encrypt, and think about where you're having multiple backups. 3, 2, 1, baby. 3 backups, 2 different locations, 2 different media, 1 offsite. I think that's it for us this time.
Until next week, same time, same bat channel.